When Hazrat Usman Ghani, may Allah be pleased with him, was surrounded, it was the final period of his caliphate. At the age of 86, this was a painful time. For 40 days, 13 people came from 3 cities. From Egypt, Kufa, and Basra, 1,000 men arrived in Madina. They first met with Ali Mortaza. Before this, they had met with other companions. When they spoke, they were told that there was no problem and were sent back. They had accused Hazrat Usman of causing chaos. They claimed he appointed young governors, but Usman replied that even Hazrat Osama was appointed young, so this was not a new practice. This was all a plan. People came from different places, and after 3 days, they all returned, but then came back again. This was all pre-planned. The rebels created a difficult situation in Medina. Sayyid Naveed Murtaza, may Allah be pleased with him, was outside Medina, and he had stationed his sons Imam Hassan and Imam Hussein at Hazrat Usman's door to protect him. About 700 people asked for permission to deal with the rebels. Many people had already gone for Hajj, but Usman said he would not give permission, saying, "I will not allow the holy city of Medina to be stained with people's blood." There were armies available, but you won't find anything like this in world history, that someone with such a large government was surrounded, had their water cut off, and still said, "You will not spill a single drop of blood for me." When his slaves took up swords, he ordered them to put them down, saying any slave who doesn't fight and witnesses his martyrdom would be freed. People who were teachers and educators took up swords to defend him. But Hazrat Usman? Even when Malik asked him to step down from the caliphate, Usman refused, saying this couldn't happen. The Prophet had predicted this, saying, "Usman, Allah will give you a shirt, the caliphate, and people will want to remove it. You must never take it off." Bro. If Usman had stepped down, it would have set a bad precedent where any group could force a caliph to resign. Usman didn't want Medina to become a battlefield, and he didn't want the entire Islamic world to be set on fire, so they could send them to 3 different cities and create chaos throughout the Islamic world. Usman chose to sacrifice himself rather than let this happen. He had heard that martyrs have a special status, so he preferred martyrdom over giving up the caliphate or allowing Medina to be destroyed. On the 18th of Dhul Hijjah, Hazrat Usman was reciting the Quran after Asr prayer. Hazrat Imam Hassan, Imam Hussein, and Abdullah bin Zubair were guarding his door, but the rebels entered by climbing over the back wall. They attacked him with swords. His wife came forward to protect him, and her finger was cut. With another blow, Usman's right hand was cut off. Usman said sorrowfully, "You have cut off the hand with which I used to write the revelation." They struck him 9 more times and martyred him. His blood fell on the Quran as he was reciting the verse, "Allah will be sufficient for you against them." Hazrat Usman was martyred as an oppressed victim, hungry and thirsty. Abdullah bin Umar reports that once they were discussing how many martyrs there would be, and a man with a covered face passed by. The Prophet had said that this man would be on the right path when trials came. Abdullah went to see who it was and found it was Usman. The Prophet had said about Usman that when trials would come, Usman would be on the right path and that Usman would be martyred. A martyr is one who sacrifices their life in the way of Allah. Hazrat Usman's great achievement was that by sacrificing his life, he protected the Muslim community from trials and saved them. We send millions of greetings to Hazrat Usman, and we salute his character in it. Once a funeral was brought to the Prophet, and when asked to extend the prayer, the Prophet refused. When questioned why, as he usually extended prayers, he said, "This person bore hatred for Usman, and Allah has deprived him of his mercy." Another elder refused to lead the funeral prayer of someone who hated Usman. Imagine how unfortunate it is to bear enmity toward Hazrat Usman. The Prophet said, "How can I not remember one whom even angels remember?" Those who don't speak well of Usman are the worst people. Hakim has reported that many companions resembled the Prophet in various qualities, but Hazrat Usman resembled the Prophet the most in modesty. The Prophet said to be happy because Usman's gentleness and good character were pleased. Hazrat Usman was beloved to the Prophet, was promised paradise, is among the 4 rightly guided caliphs, and was told by the Prophet that, after that day, no deed would harm Usman, and that the Prophet loved Usman as even the angels did. Oh, this is enough for me now. Please leave a comment if you want second part, like, and share with others, and subscribe the Muslim Timeline. Thank you.